Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Tuesday tip where in this video we're going to be talking about skate park etiquette. So in case you've never heard the term or you've never been to a skate park before, let's define what skate park etiquette is before we get into how to follow skate park etiquette. So to put a simple definition to it, I would say that skate park etiquette is an unwritten but generally understood set of rules on how to conduct yourself while at a skate park. And now that we've put a definition to it, we can jump right on into the rules of skate park etiquette and how you should generally conduct yourself, whether it's your first time at the skate park or your 10,000th time at the skate park. These things apply to everyone, no matter who you are, what your status is, whether it's your first time or, like I said, your 10,000th time. And the very first thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to skate park etiquette is what we like to call snakes. A snake is someone who cuts in front of someone else who is mid-run or using a particular part of a skate park at that particular moment in time. So for example, say you're at a concrete skate park with a bowl. Someone is making a run, they're riding around the bowl, and you drop in right in the middle of their run. That would make you a snake. And the first rule of skate park etiquette is to not be that guy. Don't be the person who drops in while someone else is in the middle of their run, because that is the first and easiest way to get on someone's bad side at the skate park. Now, naturally, this happens on accident. We snake people without realizing it or without meaning to, or both of you are not paying attention and you just happen to snake each other. It happens, and when it does, apologize. It's that simple. If you snake someone or you run into someone or anything like that, getting in anyone else's way, even if it's their fault, apologize, because that's just skate park etiquette, and that's how we all get along at the skate park. There's also other aspects of being a snake that don't directly involve cutting someone off, and the first one of those that I'd like to talk about is practicing flat ground tricks or playing games of bike in the flat bottom of a bowl or a mini or anywhere else that is a highly trafficked area at the skate park. Chances are there's other places on the skate park that are better suited for practicing flat ground tricks or playing games of flat ground bike. There's also parking lots everywhere, and just in general there are better places to play games of bike or practice flat ground riding than the flat bottom of a mini ramp, a bowl, or anywhere else where people are riding through a lot. Another one of these aspects worth mentioning is sitting or hanging out anywhere where someone might be trying to ride, like a grind ledge or the middle of a box jump or the deck of a quarter pipe. These aren't hangout places. These are places to ride and try tricks. And obviously, if you're the only person at the skate park, then it really doesn't matter. But if it's crowded or there's people there trying tricks, just don't hang out on grind ledges or in the middle of box jumps or anywhere where someone might be going in the middle of their run. This is another very easy way to get on someone's bad side at the skate park. And in general, another rule of skate park etiquette is that if you see someone in these places, you ask them nicely to move so that you don't run into them or cause unnecessary confrontation in some other way. Some people just don't know about skate park etiquette, and that's the purpose of this video. Some people, it's their first time to the skate park. The reality of it is that when you're at a public skate park, everyone has the right to be there, whether or not they're skateboarding, riding, anything like that. Everyone is allowed to be there and hang out where they want to, essentially, whether or not it follows skate park etiquette. So rather than being a huge jerk and running into people, maybe you just get a little close and ask them again. And if that doesn't work, you're just gonna have to wait or look like an And that brings us to the next part of skate park etiquette that I want to talk about. This one not only applies to the people who should already know skate park etiquette, but also just anyone who's going to the skate park, whether it's their first time or, once again, their 10,000th time. And that is to just don't be an If someone's in the way or someone's sitting where you want to ride, ask them nicely to move, like we said earlier. If they don't want to move, then just wait your turn. Don't be the guy who runs into the little kid because he keeps getting in your way. There's way better ways to go about these things. And if you're at a skate park and there's a little kid there and they're getting in the way, or they're constantly just riding in circles and circles and circles, chances are their parent is there. And if you're an adult, you should be mature enough to be able to talk to a parent and teach them about skate park etiquette as well, so they can pass it along to their child, and maybe their child will learn that way rather than having some jerk run them over at the skate park or giving them a brush with death by riding that close to them. And just like everything else, these situations exist on a scale, and every single one has to be evaluated differently, but most of the time you can handle things without being an And speaking of there's a few other ways that you can be one at a skate park. The first of those that I want to talk about is being the one-upper of the skate park. Nobody likes a one-upper. Let me repeat that for those of you who didn't listen. Nobody likes a one-upper. Don't be that guy. A one-upper is a person who takes something that someone at the skate park just did or is talking about doing, and then goes and does that trick, but a better version of it with more added to it, or higher, or just anything like that. Nobody likes that guy, especially young kids who are already nervous about being at a skate park. If they're just learning, there's nothing more discouraging than going and doing like a feeble grind and then seeing some jerk watch you do it and then go and do like a feeble hard 180 bar spin or something like that. Don't be the person who sees what other people are doing and has to top it and be better than that just to show how good you think you are. And then we have another one that mostly applies to people who should know better, but it's worth mentioning anyway, and that is to don't be an to little kids. If there's little kids asking you questions or just excited about what you're doing, answer them, be nice to them. They're just excited about bikes and they just want to ask questions and get to know you. And honestly, when you're that little kid and you're asking questions to someone who's better than you, there's nothing better than having that person be friendly and maybe even teach you some tricks, and that goes a long way with people. And honestly, it's possible that ignoring a young kid or being a jerk to them could completely turn them off of bikes and could not only ruin the chances of them being a great rider in the future and staying out of trouble because of bikes, but also being your friend in the future and being someone to ride with. When it comes to little kids, just be nice to them, be patient, answer their questions. You never know who you could be talking to and what their future could hold. And when it comes to the young kids, that means I'm talking to you young kids, try to ask questions that could actually help you out, and maybe think about the questions that you're going to ask before you ask them, so that maybe you can give those older riders a reason to want to answer your questions rather than ignore them and ignore you. And I just want to touch on this one more time. If you are one of these older riders and there's young kids at the skate park, it's not part of skate park etiquette, but it's just something that I want to hit on. Teach these kids, give them pointers, get them excited about bikes, because if you don't, there might not be someone else to do it for them. Another thing that's worth mentioning before we wrap this one up is that these rules don't only apply to BMX riders interacting with other BMX riders at the skate park. They apply to everyone. If you're a BMX rider, be nice to the skaters, don't get in their way. And if you're a skateboarder somehow watching this, don't get in the BMX riders' way and be nice to the BMX riders. I come from a place where we all get along and we're all friends and we all have an awesome time and get psyched for each other at the skate park, because we all follow skate park etiquette towards each other. And when things happen and we get in each other's way or run into one another, we say we're sorry and then we move on and we try to pay attention and keep these things from happening in the future. And honestly, that's what it's all about. Just respect the people that are at the skate park and give them the same courtesy that you would want them to give you. And like I just said, we apologize to each other whenever we break these things and get in each other's way or anything like that. And that's the easiest way to keep things friendly at the skate park, is that if you run into someone or you get in their way, make sure you apologize enough, even if it's their fault, because we all are just there to have a good time and have fun riding our bikes, skating on our skateboards, scootering, rollerblading, whatever we might be doing. It's all there for the same purpose and it's all the same fun. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up this video about skate park etiquette. I hope that you learned something and found this video useful. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below as well. I come out with tips and tricks videos just like this one every single Tuesday, along with BMX news videos on Fridays and other types of riding videos and streams throughout the week. Also, let me know what you guys think of the background for this video, and if you'd be interested in seeing more videos with this background in it whenever I'm just sitting in front of the camera talking like this one. With that being said, I want to thank you guys all for being here and watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.